My name's Ryan, and I built this ambulance, and I thought I would give a little more detailed video about it. To start with, if you're thinking about doing something like this, starting with a platform that has the most components out of the box. So one reason I chose the ambulance was I fell in love with the fact that it has so much exterior storage, which was a huge selling point, but also the heating, the air conditioning, all the lighting, you know, electrical outlets throughout. I mean, it's really, you have a really good start to go with in the beginning, and then you can supplement that by either tapping into the existing stuff or, you know, just converting it over to something you might want to use. So I would say that one reason I would say an ambulance is a really good pick is insulation. It heats up really well in the wintertime, you know, as far as in the back here. It becomes very comfortable quickly. It has a thermostat that regulates the temperature in any direction you want to go, so you can have it cold or warm back here versus the front. If you go with a class 3 like this one, you're going to have the ability to withstand a rollover and be safe. So that's a big plus if you want to have people ride in the back. So there's that, the insulation, like I said, the exterior storage, and then just a solid structure to begin with, you know. A lot of campers are built with wood. Well, pretty much all campers are built with wood. I've had multiple ones, and if you do much rough stuff off-road, just rocking back and forth and stuff, every single one I've ever had has started to fall apart. So, and going with the van front end versus a Ford truck front end, same size platform internally as far as the box, a van will be 2 or 3 feet shorter than a truck, even though the overall package is the same. So there's pluses to using the van front end. So that's another reason. Ford truck, you can get one that's already 4-wheel drive and do it quickly and easy, but it's going to be a much larger overall package. What this is a 97 E350 ambulance. It has a 7.3 turbo diesel Power Stroke motor in it. On the front end here of the ambulance, or actually shouldn't say the front end, on the ambulance, I went with a U-joint off-road kit. It has Fox shocks, high steer conversion. It's a 6-inch kit. Chris over at U-joint was very helpful, and he had me weigh it and everything, and so he had the springs built to spec and all that good and fun stuff. But it runs about $5,800 for a kit like this, but I think it's got to be the best one out there. I just can't imagine anything being better than it, and it actually rides very, very good. So U-joint off-road, 6-inch kit. Talk to Chris. So cruising at 65 here with the cruise control on. Yeah, it's pretty loud with these tires, you're right about that. But it really tracks pretty awesome. Now on the front end, if you have seen any of the other videos I put online about this, originally I have always kept the initial grill that it came with. It wasn't on the top of my list of priorities to do, but I went through the wrecking yard and was able to pick up a grill, and I shot it actually with silver plasti dip, nice and thick so it won't chip, and was able to get this lower valance as well. So I went with the stock grill back on the front end, which I think looks a lot better. The other one had sirens and shit in it, and I just couldn't see any reason to keep it. Because the other thing is I picked up these Bushwhacker fender flares. That's what brand they are if you're looking to find out what kind. So the size tires and wheels I went with were these are, what are they, 18 by 10, so they're 10 inches wide, and that's the rim size. The wheel size or tire size is a 35, 1250, 18. Now the spare tire carrier, it's an ARB, and it has this pivot point here, this hinge, and it's built for a Jeep Wrangler. So normally when you have a spare tire carrier, most of them are going to come across and have some kind of point over here that they mount on that you have to release to move the tire. This is different than that. Everything goes on that hinge over there as far as force and pressure and everything. And then it actually attaches to the door. I had to modify it slightly because it was built for a door that was like this wide, so I had to change where the pivot points were. But basically you just open the door like you normally would, and it's actually pretty sweet. You don't really have to deal with releasing anything. I can open that from the inside or the outside. I don't need to release any pins, but it's a pretty good one. It works, and it came with that rack on the side for that jack and the shovel that I hope I never need to use. I put this hitch on, picked this up from a wrecking yard for, I think it was like 80 bucks or something like that, but anyway, I put a tow hitch on, and then also up here, this is where you plug the lights in, obviously. On the airbags, I put each port over here so I can adjust the pressure on them as needed. So it has towing and everything now. It's good to go, which is nice. Now originally on an ambulance like this, if you get an older one at least, your tail lights are over here, you know, your running lights, all of this down here. So when you're changing lanes, you literally only have a little square this big that's indicating where you need to go. After adding the trailer package and everything, I was able to tap into that, and then I took some of these red lenses that I had from, you know, the corners and put two of them down here below, and now those are also my running lights and my brake lights and my turn signals. So when I change lanes, instead of having just this tiny little turn signal over here on either side going off, this is a very big bright light, and it works really well. And I just modified the bulb holder and just put in a stock Ford tail light turn signal. But because of the size of the reflector, I've noticed a big change as far as how many people seem to notice my turn signals. The other thing we added was a backup camera. You can see it up there on top, but that helps a lot when you're moving something like this around, just to give you confidence there's no victims behind you. I added these airbags to the rear here. They help a little bit as far as the ride, but honestly it was pretty good before. It's just more like when I'm towing and that kind of thing, just to make sure I can supplement it and make sure the ride height's where it needs to be. I replaced the exhaust with a 4-inch stainless system. It's a Magna Flow. I went with the big muffler just to keep it as quiet as possible. That's helped a lot with the exhaust gas temperatures, the EGTs. And those Fox shocks I really like. They ride really well. So anyway, that's what I did on the exhaust. Okay, on the side, I got one of those Dometic awnings that slides in and out electrically, and you had originally there was 2 floodlights in this location, and I removed those, and with the power supply that would normally run those floodlights on the side, I can turn on the power to this awning, and then I have a switch inside which I can control in or out which direction it goes. So not only am I able to put power to the awning through those floodlights that were there, but I also added an LED strip across the bottom of this awning. I can turn on basically this whole side of the ambulance, turn it on and leave the lights on, and with that same power source, which would be my right flood on the control panel, I can put the awning in and out also. So that's one way to use something that was already here, existing wiring. One of the hugest selling points on this was the exterior storage for me. So in this one rack right here, or this one box, I think we have 8 folding chairs and a couple folding tables. This thing is where we keep our grill, but this is going to be dedicated for outdoor cooking. So there's that box. Over here on the side, this is the side access door behind the passenger side, and it is a big door. You know, you can see how large it is. Down here is where it has the batteries on a slide out tray. They just slide out across the bottom there and you have access to them. Now this has access via the inside and the outside, and what I finally settled on doing was I just made this basically a spot to hold my table. So I can take that table out and use it while we're camping, and then I have a spot to put it. And so I have a storage spot for my table that I use mainly for camping. And then on the inside, I converted this cabinet here, which normally you have access to on both sides. Now it's insulated from the outside, so there's no dust and stuff getting in there. And it stores our table for inside the truck, as well as it has a coat closet and a bunch of other stuff in there, some shelves and everything. So that's what we did with that cabinet. Over here on the other side, you can see the storage here.